So hopefully the Menendez brothers gets themselves a new trial. You just had that Letitia Stouch, her entire case. She had a 21-day trial. And Letitia Stouch in Colorado, she had alleged that the abuse she endured as a child was the reason why she had to stab 11-year-old Gannon in the face 18 times. She had to stab him 18 times, had to shoot him, had to stab him, had to chop him up, put him in a suitcase, and then throw his body over a bridge into a creek in Florida so it would just wash on out into the Gulf of Mexico. So we went ahead and entertained her, right? We gave her the best trial, the best representation. She made her case, and she was absolutely, what, you're going to say that you were not guilty by reason of insanity, so, guilty. She got a guilty verdict, but my point being, we entertained the idea that she could have been abused as a child, and that child abuse had something to do with, I mean, she's like 40 something years old, so she's so far removed from childhood. The Menendez brothers won a brand new trial, and they deserve a brand new trial, frankly. There was 2 hung juries, and then the final jury trial, the judge didn't allow the sexual abuse to come into the case. Well, if you ignore all the abuse, well, then it almost seems like they just killed the guy for no damn reason. There wasn't even any abuse, you know? You would think maybe there was some abuse or something, but there was none. Now, the reason there's a habeas petition filed May 3rd, so there's new evidence. So they want their convictions and life sentences overturned based on new evidences and get a new trial. And I think they deserve a new trial, frankly. New rape allegations against Jose Menendez from ex-Menudo member Roy Rosello. So there's a letter. There's Eric's letter that he had mentioned a thing that wasn't allowed into the thing. And then there's this also Jose Menendez. So I've been trying to avoid him. It's still happening, but it's worse. Every night I stay up thinking that he might come in. So there's that letter that Eric had wrote December 1988. That wasn't allowed into the jury trial. And then there was also this rape allegation from another person, Roy Rosello. So Roy Rosello says that he was raped several times when he was over at the Menendez brothers' house. He was part of the band, and he would go over to the house, and he said that he was drugged and raped. The motion references Cano's testimony, Marta Cano, in which he testified that a 13-year-old Eric told him that Jose Menendez was massaging asked if Andy's father did the same. The motion also states Andy Cano died in 2003. So Roy Rosello provides details of the alleged sexual abuse he suffered from Jose Menendez in the 1980s. In the motion, Roy Rosello says that he was drugged and raped at the Menendez family's New Jersey home and on 2 other occasions during his time with the band. During their 1993 trial, the Menendez brothers testified they killed their parents in self-defense after suffering years of sexual and violent abuse, and they feared that they would be killed. Their first trial ended in 2 hung juries. During the second trial, Judge Stanley M. Weisberg ruled no testimony of the sexual abuse allegations could be heard by the jury. The Menendez brothers were convicted of double murder in March 1996 and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. So I think we should open up the thing, because if we're going to entertain Letitia Stout's fucking insanity, she's just making up shit, right? She's just, oh yeah, you had to stab 11-year-old Gannon because of, you got mad at him. You were controlling him. You were oppressing him. You were oppressing him, and then one day he says, I don't want to be oppressed anymore, and that ticked you the fuck off. How dare you tell me no? How dare, don't you look at me, boy. Don't you backtalk me, boy. What the hell did you say to me, boy? I think we're all going to have to go to Pataqua. They went ahead and burned down Jemez, 1681, and just went to Pataqua. Jordan Neely, you sons of bitches, you say you're pro-life, right? Candace Owens, if you're so pro-life, why don't you give a shit about Jordan Neely's life? He was homeless. He isn't just being shitty to people because he wants to be shitty to people. He's living on the fucking streets, you wealthy fucking... You have everything. And you walk past Jordan Neely a million fucking times, and when he says, I'm thirsty as fuck and you better give me something to drink or else I'm gonna do something crazy, you killed him. You killed him because he wanted a drink of fucking water. We got people in Florida who are arresting old people for feeding the homeless. This ain't no Christian nation. This isn't a good nation. You Christians, but Christians are devils. They don't give a shit about crimes. They don't give a shit about bad people doing bad things to innocent people. You can arrest a person. You don't use excessive force. You stop the threat. The threat has been stopped. You let them up easy. Be professional. Make the arrest. Put the handcuffs on them. Get them into the jail. In fact, you don't even have to say any bad words, any bad thing if the person just says, all right, let's go to jail. No excessive force. The coroner's report is good evidence. Jordan Neely. You all sit there and say you're pro-life, but why are you pro-murder of Jordan Neely, you pieces of shit? The last cop in the George Floyd killing, he's going to get convicted, huh? So apparently if you're a cop and you're watching one of your cop buddies do a murder, you're supposed to speak up. You're supposed to say something. 500,000 homeless, $10,000 homes, that's $5 billion. Divide that by 330 million Americans. Well, shit, that's $15. If every single American just chipped in $15, we would nip the homelessness problem in the bud. Just $15. And you know what? We pay more than $15 in taxes. Where the fuck is our property taxes and the sales taxes? Where the hell's all of our taxes going if it's not going for homes for the homeless? I want hospitals, and I want libraries, and I want homes for the homeless. That's what I want my tax dollars being spent on. Chad Daybell, he went ahead and killed his own wife. That's his mother of 5. Chad Daybell killed a mother of 5 just to be with this blonde bombshell who paints her eyebrows on like Barbara fucking Williams, a child abusing fucking white supremacist piece of shit. Look at Lori's face. Don't tell me if you look at Lori's face you see a kind person there. That's a sick, manipulative piece of shit. Sitting there acting like it was God's will. God's will. Lori Vallow was able to get Chad Daybell to murder her 2 kids, including a 7-year-old special needs kid, a 16-year-old and a 7-year-old special needs kid. We're all going to have to go to Pataqua. That's the new village that the Native Americans in northern New Mexico had to go to during the 1680 Pueblo Revolt. The 1680 Pueblo Revolt, it's a revolution. It's going to last for 10 years. They got rid of the priest and the church and the village, and they built a brand new village at Pataqua. Right is right and wrong is wrong. I'll join with anybody to do good, and I won't join with anybody to do evil. When you make peaceful revolution impossible, you make violent revolution inevitable. The Menendez brothers deserves a brand new trial.